Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the chess game tutorial. So last time we left off, we only started doing the pawn, and as you can tell, it works just fine. It can take over other pieces and do all that kind of pawn stuff. So in this episode, we're going to be coding the rest, and let's start right away. So, the pawn are done. Let's go ahead and do the rook. We're going to be doing them in this order. So rook, knight, bishop, king, and then queen. So, the rook, let's open his script inside of MonoDevelop. This one is quite an easy one. And it goes either, upward, right, down, or left. So it just depends. We're simply going to have to check, is there a collision? Is there another piece in front of us? So we're going to start with a public override possible move. Declare an array of Boolean, multidimensional array. So bool like this, r, for return, is equal to new bool. And I'll be setting this 8 by 8. Okay, chessman C and int I are going to be two fields we're going to be using throughout the function. So let's start with the right move. So going right, I is going to equal current x, and then we'll do a while through. So while, we could do a do while, but I like while through better because it looks, I just don't really like how the do while works, but it's up to you. So we're gonna do I++ if I is, if I is bigger or equal than 8, that means we're too far. We went too far on the board, so we're simply going to break that while and exit this loop. Okay. So if we haven't broken that wall, let's go ahead and get the piece next to us right now. So C is equal to board manager.instance.chessman at the index I and current Y because we're going right. Now if that piece is null, that means we can go there. So R I current Y is equal to true. We can actually go over to this place. Now, if there is a piece, so say there is a piece where we just looked, then means if, not it means, I mean, if there is a piece, we're either allowed to capture it and then stop our move, or we're not allowed to go there because it's one of our piece and it's blocking us the way. So if C.isWhite is not equal to is white, which is our own chessman field. So if my chessman is white and C, which is the chessman I've just looked for, is not white, that means we are allowed to go there. So R at the index I and current Y is equal to true. But though after that we still gotta do a break in both cases. So if it is not one of our piece, we set it to true, and if it is, then we simply don't run that if, but we gotta break out anyway because it's blocking our way as a rook. So that's pretty much it for right, and all we have to do is copy and paste this, and the rest is really gonna be really similar. So that's right. Let's do left next. So left, and we'll do I is equal to current x. So you got to be resetting your I because we pretty much just bumped it all the way to 8 maybe. Is bigger or equal to 8? Is that good or not? Okay, no, that's yeah, that's working because we do I++ first. Okay, so left, we do I minus minus as long as I is smaller. I mean, if I is smaller than 0, that means we're outside of the board. Then we break, and that is going to work. That is going to work. Everything else is going to work. Okay, so that's it for left. Let's go ahead and copy this over and do up. Now for up, we're gonna say I is equal to current Y instead, and we'll do I++ as long as I is bigger, I mean is smaller or equal to 8, but we do it the other way. So we're gonna say I is bigger or equal to 8. If that's the case, we're outside the board and we break. Now we have to swap this over here as well. So current X and current Y now becomes I, and we have to change it in here too, like so. Okay, that's it for up, and as you probably guess, we're going to be copying this over for down. So I is equal to current Y, that works. I minus minus, as long as I is bigger than 0, so we do I is smaller than 0, we break. Then the rest should be working. So let's go ahead and test our rook, and hopefully everything works. So, oh, we forgot to return, my bad. At the end of our function, we do return R. Okay. So moving this guy over here, oh, I'm gonna remove that, that's annoying. And then rook, we can go here. We cannot go on this piece because it's blocking our way, which is fine. We can go all the way to the right. Same thing for this guy. We can go all the way to the left, and then as you can see, this one can go over here because it can actually take over the piece, which is pretty much what we want. Now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to test it out on the other side as well. And as you can see, we cover all direction. We can take over this piece, but we can't take over ours. And what else? Nothing. Everything should be fine at the moment. So this one has free will to go pretty much wherever he wants. And we can take over pieces. That works with both rooks, and it's pretty much a success. So we've got this out of the way. Next one we need to do, we said was going to be the knight, I think. And the knight is going to be a lot of repetitive code. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll create a additional function in there only for the knight, which is a good thing we can do because we're using inheritance, so it doesn't really get too messy. So I'm going to leave that here for now, and I'll be coding my function just below that. Public void knight move, and I'll send an int x, int y, and a reference to our bool array that we're about to create. Like so. Okay, let's go ahead and go create a bool array up here that we're going to call R again, is equal to new bool of size 8 by 8, and we return it. So what's going to happen here is we're going to be sending only the x and the y to this function, and it's going to fill this value if it needs to. Okay, so let's do our move. If chessman c, not if, sorry, we're going to declare a chessman, and then we do if x is bigger or equal to 0, so we're inside of the positive x, and x is smaller than 8, so we're pretty much just making sure that our x is inside our array range, and then we do the same thing with y. So if y is bigger or equal than 0, and y is smaller than 8, oh sorry, bigger or equal, so if we're inside of that array, we're gonna say c is equal to board manager.instance.chessman, and we're gonna get the piece at x and y. Now again, if that piece is null, if c is equal to null, we're allowed to go, so our x and y is equal to true, else if is white, so our own color is not equal to c dot is white, that means we can take over the piece, so our x and y is also equal to true, and we don't have to return anything. So that's going to be our move right there. Okay, and we're simply going to be calling this function with coordinates that are pretty much just matching the normal knight pattern. So you know how he goes like in this L shape? We're going to do that right here. So let's start with say up left. Hopefully this is clear to you. And we do knight move, and then we're going to do up left. So that's current x minus 1 because we're moving one tile to the left. and then current y plus 2. We're also going to send it the reference r as a parameter. So that's up left right there. We can copy paste. That's going to be up right. All we have to change is current x plus 1. And then let's do right. So right up and then right down. Right up is going to be current x plus 2 and current y plus 1. And now right down is going to be current x plus 2 and current y minus 1. Okay. Let's copy over the up, and that's going to be our down. So up left now becomes down left, and up right now becomes down right. So current x minus 1, that works. Now current y has to be reverse, so minus 2. And finally, let's copy over the right and just swap these two over. So current x minus 2 and current x minus 2 on these two. And this is left, up, and finally left down. Okay. So a lot of copy paste in this case, but we had to cover every single spot the knight could go. Let's try it out. And as you can see, this looks like the exact pattern we see in chess, which is pretty much what we're trying to do, but he cannot go there. He can only go in these spots here. So these two are also allowed when there is no one there, or if there is an enemy, but in this case it's already used by by our team. So as you can tell, this knight can take over this one, and then we see the nice shape that is supposed to be taking. Here are all the possible moves for the knight, and then we can take over the king if we'd like. Or can we? We seem unable. Oh, yeah. So we're not going to be able to take the king, because when we do take the king, we do a return in there. We're supposed to end the game usually, but since we haven't really coded this part yet, we're not going to be able to take the king just yet. Okay. So the knight works. Let's go ahead and do the bishop. So the bishop is going to be fairly simple as well, I believe. Well, it's going to be simpler than the pawn, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and open it up. Inside of model develop, we're going to do public override bool. And let's create a new bool array that we're going to call r is equal to new bool 8 out of 8. Okay, and we also return that so I don't forget. For this one, we'll need a chessman c. And also two ints, so int I and int j. So, the bishop goes in 4 direction in diagonal axis. We're going to do the exact same method we use with the rook. So we're going to do a while through. So, first one is top left. Oop. And we do I is equal to current x, and g is equal to current y. Now, while true, as long as always, basically, so that's an infinite loop, but we usually break out of it. So as long as this is true, I minus minus, because we're going towards the left, and j plus plus, because we're going up. Then let's check if we're still on the board. So if I is smaller than 0, or j is bigger or equal to 8, that means we're outside of the board. So we're gonna break, and this is going to be it for top left. Okay, but if we're not outside of the board, let's go ahead and get the piece that's over there. So board manager dot instance dot chessman add index I and j, and we do the usual check. So if the piece is equal to null, we can actually go there. So I and j, I keep writing g, is equal to true, else we do the check to know if it's part of our team or their team. So else if is white is not equal to c dot is white, that means it's an enemy and we can take over its piece. So r and j is equal to true, but we still break because we're being blocked and we can't go over a piece. So here we go. That is top left. We're gonna do top right. So simply copy pretty much everything over, and we're gonna be just changing values in there. So instead of doing I minus minus, we're gonna do I plus plus, and we're gonna check, is I bigger or equal than 8? And as for the rest, we don't even need to change it. So again, copy this, and now this is down left, and down left is going to be all about minus minus on I, and we're going to check if I is smaller than 0 and j is smaller than 8. If that is the case, we're going to go ahead and just break. And finally, down right, we do I minus minus if I is smaller than 0, and we are pretty much good to go. Let's test it out, because we really like playing chess. If I go here, and then I move, say, this guy, as you can tell, he goes diagonally, like that. Same thing on this side, if I can get it to work, or it doesn't seem to work on the other side. We'll figure out why in a moment. But as you can see, this one works almost fine. It's not working on the diagonal bottom, down right. So let's go see what's going on with that. Down right. And we do, we should do I plus plus, my bad about that. And j minus minus. So I got these two reverse. So if I is bigger or equal to 8 and j is smaller than 0, smaller than 0, now it should work. Okay, so I'm gonna take this piece in front here, see if this works fine. Oh, wrong piece actually, my bad. And as you can tell, it now goes in every direction for both team. It can take over pieces, it can just do all the bishop stuff. Great, so we've got this out of the way for bishop. Next one is going to be the king. Why not? Let's do the king. So the king pretty much goes in every single direction, but it can only go one in front of it. So let's go ahead and create our new Boolean array, return it, and in between that we're gonna do the top side. So top side, oh, by the way, let's declare a chessman as well, so if there is an enemy there, we know. And also int I and int j. So I is going to equal current x minus 1, because we're gonna start diagonal left, and we're gonna do j is equal to current y plus 1, because we're starting on the top side, so we're gonna do plus 1 to its current position. Now, if current y is not equal to 7, because if it is equal to 7, then we can't go up anymore because we're on the last tile of the board. So if it is not equal to 7, then let's go ahead and do a for loop. So for int k is equal to 0, as long as k is smaller than 3, we do k plus plus and we run the loop. Inside of that loop, we'll do if I is bigger or equal than 0, or I is smaller than 8. That means we're inside of the boundaries of our chessboard and we can proceed. So if that is the case, we are going to do C is equal to board manager instance chessman I, and then J, and finally we do the usual check. So if C is equal to null, then we can go there because the tile is empty. So R at the index I and J is equal to true. Else, if is white is not equal to C dot is white, that means this is an enemy and we can take it over as a king, like so. And then let's add a I plus plus outside of this if loop. So what pretty much happens if we just go over this really quickly? we're gonna start diagonal left, and then if we are not on the top side, so if we're not on the last tile upward, then we create a loop. So we run this 3 times, and we do, okay, if you are inside the boundaries, so if you are bigger than 0 and smaller than 8, then we go ahead and get whatever is the piece that's over there. We check, okay, is this piece null? If it is, we can move. If it is the enemy piece, we can also move, and then we do I++. Since we run this 3 times, it's going to go like diagonal left, and then middle, and then diagonal right. Okay, so if I is equal to current x minus 1, we keep this because we're going to be starting from left again, why not? But as for the j, we're going to say if j is equal to current y minus 1. And then if current y is not equal to 0, so if we're not on the last bottom tile, then we still do this for loop. And then we check the same exact stuff here. And everything else should be working actually. But instead of doing, no, we're still doing I++. Okay, so everything works. We can simply leave it like that. And then what else? We got the 3 tiles top and we got the 3 tiles bottom. Let's go ahead and do middle left. So as for middle left, let's first check off is the king on the left side, on the the extremities of the board on the left. So if current x is not equal to 0, so if he's not on that last column, then we do c is equal to board manager. You know the drill. We just gotta get the piece that's over there. So if that piece is empty after that, we're allowed to move, and if it's an enemy, we're allowed to move as well. So if c is equal to null, then we do r at the index current x minus 1 because that's where we're going, then current y, else if is white is not equal to c dot is white, then we're still allowed to go. So current x minus 1 and current y. Sorry if I'm writing a little bit too fast, but this is really repetitive stuff. So copy over the middle left, we're going to create the middle right, and then we're going to say current x is not equal to 7, so we're not completely on the right side. And let's go ahead and change the minus here for a plus, and we will be pretty much good to go. Alright, it's time to test out the king. Oh, sorry, I gotta say is equal to true. Right, forgot about the most important part. Like so. And also down here. Good, okay. Going a little bit too fast here. So where's my king? My king is over here. King can move in all direction. And as you can tell, these are all the moves he's allowed to do. Now if there is an enemy around him, he's going to be able to take him over like so, but not a piece of his color. So it's actually behaving like a real king now. And let's break the game by clicking here. Kings are not able to kill themselves just yet. Alright guys, so we pretty much got the king. Now the queen is... The queen, you think it's the hardest one because it goes in like all direction, but we already got all the script we need for that. So let's go ahead and open up the queen. It's going to be a pretty much just a job of copy paste. So what we're gonna do is open up the rook, go inside. Actually, first let's declare that in our function. Let's do a public override possible move and copy in what we usually put. And we're also going to include a j in that, so int I and j. And now all we need to do really is go over to the rook, start from right over here. So I'm going to click here next to my comment, go all the way down to here just before return, and then hit while I'm holding shift, just click again so I select everything, then hit Control C on the keyboard to copy. Go over on my queen and just paste this. So now the queen behaves like a rook, and then we're going to go inside of the bishop. we're gonna go all the way up to top left and scroll all the way down to down right. Just before the return, we hold Shift, click again, hit Ctrl C on the keyboard, and paste it just below that. So I'm also going to collapse those, and we're simply going to return R. And this is our queen right there. All it needed was this. Okay, so we can finally get to the final phase of testing a real actual game where all the pieces goes at the right places. So this one can eat diagonal, we already tested that out. Let's bring out the queen. So the queen has a broad range of moves she can do. As you can tell, this is pretty much what she can do. She can do all direction, all diagonal. And let me just move that a little bit. So as you can tell, we also got this out of the way. So do we need any more pieces? We don't actually. We got pretty much everything covered, and it works like in real chess. So let's go ahead and fix the death condition on the king. So this way something happens at least when you kill the king. Alright, so I'm going to open up the board manager. And let's go down to the, where could we go? Let's go down to the move chessman function. So down here, if it is a king, we say end the game. Let's actually write end game as a function, and we're gonna go down and declare it. So at the bottom of my script, I'll do a private void endgame like so. And now what exactly do we want the endgame to do? We'd like to do if is a white turn. Let's just leave it a quick message right now. So debug.log, and we'll say white team wins. Now if it is not the white turn while the endgame is being called, that means the other team has won. So debug.log black team wins. And then we're gonna wipe the whole board. So for each game object geo in active chessman, let's go ahead and do destroy, and we're gonna destroy that geo, that game object. And since we're starting a new game, why not? Let's go ahead and start a new game. We're gonna say is white turn is equal to true. Board highlights dot instance dot hide highlights. So we're gonna start like really clean and fresh, and finally do a spawn all chessman. Okay, let's go for a really quick win. Gonna bring this guy here, and sorry, I'm really not that good at chess. I'm actually really awful at chess, so I'm still struggling right now just to move my king around. There it is. So when I eat that king, we should be pretty much getting the message down here saying the white team wins, and everything is reset. And as you can tell, white team wins, and we go back to the original. Now the white should be the first one to move again, and yep, everything seems to work. Let's go ahead and try with the other king. So black team wins, and we are reset, and it's not the black turn, it is still the white turn. Okay, great. So we got our victory down there. And finally, one thing I'd like to actually fix is see how I have to double click on this guy. Say I'm clicking on this guy, he's now selected, but he's not allowed to go anywhere because he's pretty much blocked. Now what happens is I don't get a feedback that he's blocked, and I don't know that he's selected. So if I click on another one, it doesn't work the first time. I have to click again, and then I get this. So what I'm going to add now is I'm going to add a condition that checks, are we even allowed to move? And if we're not allowed to move, don't even select me, don't even try to do the calculation where we highlight the selected move. Actually, no, you're still gonna have to do them, but don't select my piece, so I don't have to double click next time I want to select another one. So that would be done inside of the select chessman. And right about there, I'm going to write bool has at least one move is equal to false, and I'll do, well, we're gonna take the allowed moves right there, and then we do a for loop. So for int I is equal to 0, as long as I is smaller than 8, actually smaller or equal than 8, no, never mind, let's do smaller than 8, then I plus plus. Now we do another for loop in that, so for int j is equal to 0, as long as j is smaller than 8, we do j plus plus. And inside of that, we're going to do a if statement. So if allowed moves at the index I and j is not equal to null. Okay, so my bad. Over here I said if allowed moves is not equal to null. I should just remove that. And that did not really make any sense. So if allowed moves at the index I and j is equal to true, then we do has at least one move is equal to true. If we hit play, try to move this forward, I'm going to click once on this guy, then once on this one, and as you can see, nothing happens when I click this guy. Nothing is being called, so that's a good thing. And we are pretty much done with our chess game. So guys, this was the final last part of having the working chess. In the next one, because there's going to be a fifth part apparently, in the next one I'm going to be just adding some polishing, just adding some we're gonna add the chessboard, because right now we don't even have a chessboard. If we play this without the gizmo, this is how it looks like. So we need to add another chessboard to that, and maybe just play around with the material a bit. All the kind of good stuff is going to be done, all the polishing is going to be done in the next episode. So guys, we got a working chess now and a chess game. And there's also other moves to cover that I'd like to do in the next episode, like the en passant, and also the promotions. All going to be done in the next episode, guys. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you like this or if you learned something, please leave me a like. I really appreciate that. And if you have any comment or question, you can also leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Other than that, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.